You are voluntarily leaking your life force every single day. The chronic fatigue, the brain fog, the feeling of lacking motivation that you're experiencing are not random symptoms of modern life. They are the direct results of an internal bankruptcy. You are using a finite energy source for infinite pleasures, and the price you pay is your vitality, your clarity, and your will. The dark truth I have to tell you is this. Every time you indiscriminately release your sexual energy, you are not just wasting a physical fluid. You are throwing away the raw material for building your wisdom, your power, and your legacy. Welcome to Dark Truth Therapy. Here, I will not feed you platitudes. We will confront the naked truth. And the truth is, the cure for the wounded man inside you is not in the outside world, not in the validation of women or material achievements. It resides in the very energy you are thoughtlessly discarding. What you are about to read, based on the forgotten truths in The Creation of Superman 1986 by Dr. Raymond W. Bernard, will not be just a physiological lecture. It is a mirror, forcing you to face a core question. Are you using your creative power to build an empire or to dig your own grave? When you lose your seed in sexual indulgence, you are throwing away your own creative substance, and in doing so, you are accelerating your journey to death. You may be unaware of the reasons behind your constant wariness, your vague anxiety about the future, or the persistent dread of death. But it exists deep inside you, if you are honest enough to admit it. This state of consciousness is caused by the loss of life force, the very life that you should retain within your body for its own health, increased vitality, and the strengthening of your mind. The punishment for wasting your vital fluid is not a supernatural act of vengeance, but an inevitable physiological consequence that you yourself must bear. It doesn't happen suddenly, but gradually, bit by bit. The slow process of dying that we call old age is, in fact, the natural result of your sexual indulgence. Old age is not the number of years you have lived, but the amount of life force you have lost. Let's be brutally honest. Old age is simply the product of weakened sex glands due to your own past abuses. Dr. Voronoff, a brilliant scientist, made a cruel but accurate comparison. He described decrepit old men as being functionally identical to eunuchs, men deprived of their sex hormones who consequently age prematurely and die young. They might live to 50 or 60, but they look like they are 100 years old. This is because their bodies, lacking the essential fuel from the sex glands, have rapidly deteriorated. Now, look at your own life. Be mercilessly honest. I want you to imagine two future versions of yourself based on the path you choose today. The first version is Alex. Alex continues to live as you might be living now. He uses sex and pornography as a coping mechanism, a way to relieve stress. Every evening after a tiring day at work, he seeks that immediate release. At first, it seems harmless, but as the years pass, you will see Alex at 45. He needs 2 strong cups of coffee just to start his brain in the morning. His creative projects, the business ideas that once burned brightly, are now just cold notes in an old notebook. His enthusiasm has been extinguished by thousands of small, insignificant releases. When he looks in the mirror, he sees a man with tired eyes, dark circles, and a body that has begun to sag. Even worse is his inner world. He fears silence. He cannot sit alone with his own thoughts, because when he does, feelings of emptiness and meaninglessness rise up. So he constantly seeks distraction. Aimless social media scrolling, binge watching one series after another, and, of course, repeating the cycle of wasting his life force. Alex is, in essence, a spiritual eunuch, a man who has castrated his own creative power and will. The second version is Ben. Ben is the man who heard this wake-up call and decided to change. He began to practice the conservation and transmutation of his energy. The first few weeks were difficult. The addiction screamed for its fix, but he persisted. And then a miracle began to happen. Imagine yourself as Ben at 45. You wake up before your alarm, not out of stress, but because your mind is clear and buzzing with ideas. You don't need coffee. Your own internal energy is the best fuel. You run your business with a razor-sharp focus. When you speak, people listen, not because you are loud, but because your words have weight, the power of a man who is master of himself. You no longer need external validation, because you have found an endless source within. You find joy in building, creating, learning a new skill, or simply enjoying the stillness of your own mind. The choice is yours. Alex's path is the path of slow decay. Ben's path is the path of power and longevity. Depriving yourself of your sex gland's internal secretion will accelerate your aging. Conversely, maintaining this vital energy is the best guarantee of your longevity and strength. The medieval alchemists were, in reality, endocrinologists. The great work they sought was not to create gold from lead. It was the sublimation and refinement of your sexual energy. When you deny it a lower outlet, this energy transforms into higher brain power. The conservation and transmutation of this vital force is your elixir of life. This is where I must speak directly to your problem, to the core of dark truth therapy. Why do you waste this precious energy? The answer is not simply instinct. That is a lie you tell yourself. The truth is much darker. You do it because you carry within you the inner wound. Where might this wound have come from? Perhaps it came from an absent father, physically or emotionally. You grew up without a solid masculine role model to guide you, to give you a sense of validation. So you unconsciously seek that validation from the outside world. Perhaps it came from an overbearing or overly critical mother, making you feel that you were never good enough. Perhaps it came from the rejection of your first love, an experience that etched into your psyche the belief that you are not worthy of love. Perhaps it came from being bullied in school, making you feel weak and powerless. This wound creates a deep hole in your soul, a chronic feeling of emptiness and lack. And you, like so many other men, have found an extremely effective but also extremely dangerous painkiller: sexual gratification. You have turned sex into a tool for validation. Every conquest, every orgasm is a temporary painkiller for your wounded ego. You are not truly connecting with the woman before you. You are using her as a mirror to reflect back an image of yourself as desirable, powerful, masculine. The release of semen becomes a symbolic act. You give away your power, your life force, your gold in exchange for a false confirmation that you are good enough. This is the essence of love addiction. You are not addicted to a specific person. You are addicted to the feeling of being filled up, the feeling of having your wounds soothed, even if only for a few fleeting seconds. In Jungian terms, you are projecting your anima, the ideal woman, the perfect mother in your unconscious, onto real women, and then become disappointed when they cannot heal the deep hole inside you. The internal alchemical process requires you to do the opposite. Instead of seeking to be filled from the outside, you must use the very fire of your own life energy to burn away the impurities of your pain, shame, and fear. You must turn the lead of your past traumas into the gold of wisdom and inner strength. But if you constantly pour water, wasting your energy on that fire, the transformation will never happen. Your wound will never heal. The sex glands are the engine of your body, the generator of your energy. This energy, if you conserve it, can become the motive power behind every accomplishment in your life. The popular idea that geniuses live indulgent lives is a dangerous lie, propagated by society to keep you sedated, to keep you average, to keep you easily controlled. The truth is, your creative ability stems from the same source of vital energy that you typically dissipate through sexual channels. Therefore, the supermen and great geniuses of the past invariably led strictly continent lives. They did not do this because they were weak or lacked opportunity. They did it because they understood a fundamental law of the universe that you may have forgotten. Energy is finite. Focus is power. Let's look at specific examples, not just a list of names. Nikola Tesla. This man lit up the world. He held ideas that could change civilization. In his interviews, he spoke frankly about choosing a life of celibacy. He understood that the energy required to visualize and create such magnificent inventions could not coexist with dissipating it in romantic and carnal affairs. He made a conscious trade-off. He gave up creating a biological child to create immortal children of the mind. Do you think he could have done that if he were wasting his energy every night? Immanuel Kant, one of the greatest philosophers of all time. His life was an example of iron discipline. He lived as a bachelor and followed a strict schedule. The complex philosophical system he built required extraordinary concentration and mental clarity, a colossal amount of spiritual energy. Where did that energy come from? It came from the fact that he did not let it leak through the cracks of indulgence. He turned his entire life force into thought power. Michelangelo. Look at the statue of David. Can you see the power, the vitality, the perfectly controlled masculine energy in every fiber of the marble? That is not just technique. It is the sublimation of a ferocious internal energy. Michelangelo transformed his carnal passions into creative passion, and the results were immortal masterpieces. Now, let's consider a counterexample, a story that might sound familiar to you. Let's call him Mark, the talented writer. Mark writes his debut novel at 25, and it becomes a phenomenon. He is hailed as a genius. Money and fame arrive, and with them, countless opportunities for indulgence. He throws himself into parties, fleeting affairs, substance abuse. He believes this wild lifestyle will provide him with material for his art. But he is wrong. His creative energy, which is the same as his life energy, is drained away in hundreds of pointless pleasures. 10 years later, Mark has not written another book. He has become a shadow of his former self, always reminiscing about his one success, a man who burned his candle at both ends and is now left with only bitter smoke. Mark's story is a warning to you. You may not be a writer, but you have potential. You have projects. You have goals. Every time you choose immediate gratification, you are taking a brick from the foundation of the building you intend to construct. So the question I ask you is this: are you choosing the path of Tesla or the path of Mark? Immediate gratification or a lasting legacy? So you can understand why this conservation is so powerful, let me explain the biological mechanism to you, an internal refinery inside your own body. Think of your body as an economy and your sexual fluid as your most precious capital. Capital production. Your body, through breathing and eating, constantly creates raw energy. This energy is sent to the main factory, your sex glands. Here, it is refined and condensed into an extremely potent liquid capital, seminal fluid. This is the most concentrated form of life energy your body can produce. The investment choice. Now, you, as the CEO of this economy, have a choice. Option A, spending. You can spend this capital on a short-term pleasure. This act is like taking money out of the bank and burning it to stay warm for a few seconds. You get a fleeting warmth, but then you are poorer. Your capital is gone forever. Option B, reinvestment. You can keep this capital in the bank. Your body. When you do this, a miraculous process occurs. Your lymphatic system acts like fund managers, taking that liquid capital and reinvesting it into the entire economy. The reinvestment process. This reabsorbed fluid enters your bloodstream, enriching and energizing it. It's like upgrading your entire logistics system. Then this energy-rich blood travels up to the headquarters, your brain. The return on investment. In the brain, this capital performs miracles. It nourishes the nerve cells. It is converted into cerebrospinal fluid, the liquid that lubricates and powers your entire central nervous system. It provides phosphorus, a critical element for cognitive function. This is the raw truth I want you to burn into your mind. Your cerebrospinal fluid is made from your reabsorbed semen. Do you now understand why you feel depleted, unfocused, and anxious after spending your capital? It's not a psychological feeling. It is a biochemical reality. You have just drained the bank account of your central nervous system. You have triggered a small-scale economic crisis inside your own body. The brain fog you feel? That is your brain being starved of phosphorus and cerebrospinal fluid. The weakness in your will? That is your nervous system not having enough electricity to function. The feelings of anxiety and restlessness? That is a depleted nervous system sending out distress signals. Every drop of semen you lose is a loss of intellectual and spiritual capital. An emission represents the escape of developing brain tissue. Think of it as an act of spiritual self-cannibalism. You are eating your own future to satisfy the hunger of the present moment. You may have believed the myth that there are two separate secretions, an internal, one to nourish the body, and an external one for reproduction. That releasing the external fluid is perfectly normal and has no effect on your internal energy reserves. This is the greatest deception, a lie engineered to keep you weak and dependent. The truth is, there is only one sexual secretion. Sperm is created continuously by your body, with the primary purpose of being reabsorbed into the bloodstream to serve an internal function. The so-called external secretion is merely a pathological leakage of this precious energy source. Ask yourself, Who benefits from this deception? The pornography industry, a multi-billion-dollar machine built entirely on mining and draining your life force. It turns you into an addict, constantly coming back for a stronger hit while slowly eroding your willpower, your focus, and your ability to form real connections. It wants you to believe this behavior is normal. Consumerism. A man who is sovereign over his own energy is a terrible consumer. He doesn't need the flashy car or the expensive watch to feel valuable. He has value from within. But a man who feels empty and insecure, he is the perfect customer. He will buy anything that promises to fill the deep hole inside him. Advertisements constantly use sexual imagery to create an unconscious association. Buy our product, and you will get the gratification you crave. And finally, a power system that wants a docile and distracted citizenry. A man full of energy, with a clear purpose and an iron will, is difficult to control. But a man who is tired, anxious, and constantly seeking immediate release is much easier to lead. Your healing begins by seeing through this deception. You must realize that you have been programmed for self-destruction. You must reclaim control over your most precious resource. Think of your body and your life as a kingdom, and you are the king. Your throne, your ultimate source of power, is your conserved sexual energy. The kingdom's treasure. Your sexual energy is the national treasure. It is the gold, the diamonds, the capital to build armies, develop the economy, and create great works of art. The royal advisors, your other endocrine glands, thyroid, pituitary, adrenals, are your advisors. They function best when they receive clear directives and abundant resources from the king. Now, what kind of king are you being? The foolish king. This king listens to the flattery of pleasure merchants. Every day he takes gold from the treasury to pay for lavish parties and fleeting amusements. He throws gold out the window to the cheering crowds. The result? The treasury is depleted. The army, your immune system, is weak. The advisors, your endocrine glands, are in disarray. The economy, your career, your projects, collapses. The kingdom, your life, becomes chaotic, vulnerable to invasion by enemies, illness, depression, anxiety. The wise king. This king understands the value of his treasure. He guards it strictly. He does not spend it on trivial pleasures. Instead, he invests it wisely. He builds schools, wisdom. He strengthens the army, health. He funds great artists, creativity. His kingdom becomes prosperous, powerful, impregnable. He is respected not for his extravagance, but for the wisdom and strength of the realm he rules. The journey of dark truth therapy is the journey of overthrowing the foolish king inside you and placing the wise king on the throne. It requires emotional discipline. It requires you to sit with discomfort, with the screaming desires, and not act on them. It requires you to realize you are not your desires. You are the observer of those desires. You are the king, not the court jester demanding entertainment. Reclaiming your throne means you start directing your energy instead of letting it direct you. Your choice, leakage or legacy. Theory is meaningless without action. Reading this is the first step. The next step requires your courage. You can close this page and go back to your life of leakage, continuing to use temporary painkillers to soothe your wounded ego. That is the easy path, the path that 99% of men are on, the path that leads to slow decay in a state of false comfort. Or you can choose a different path, a harder path, but the only one that leads to true sovereignty and freedom, the path of facing your own darkness. This is not just a channel. This is an arena, a forge, a place for men like you who are ready to stop playing the victim, who are ready to face their traumas, their addictions, and the ugly truths about themselves, to come to fight, to heal, and to rebuild from the foundation up. If you are tired of running, if you are ready to stop wasting your life force and start building your legacy, subscribe to Dark Truth Therapy. Your journey into the darkness begins now. We are here to walk with you, not to shield you from the dark, but to hand you the torch to find your own way through it.